Today is March 4th, and we are about halfway through the 2020 legislative session. When we opened on January 15th, we launched an aggressive and ambitious joint economic package aimed at the cost of living concerns for our residents. Joining me this morning is Representative Della Belatti. She is the majority leader for the House Democratic Caucus. Thank you for being with us again, Representative.
Good morning, Carolyn. Good to be here.
So let's talk about it. Joint economic package. We're halfway through the session. Tomorrow is called first crossover. What's the status of the package?
So all four bills are moving along in both chambers. We're really excited here in the House. We passed House Bill 2541, Helping Working Families, which puts together an aggressive tax credit package and an increase to the minimum wage, along with House Bill 2543, relating to access to early learning. This is really to drive down the cost of early childcare, which we know is one of the two top cost drivers for our families. As you stated, this package is really about helping ALICE families, which is really 1 in 2 families, 1 in 2 households in this state. So it's a broad-reaching package, and we're waiting for the Senate to cross over their bills, Senate Bill 3103 relating to 21st century schools, and
Right.
Senate Bill 3104 relating to affordable housing. Again, addressing another huge cost driver, which is affordable housing in the state of Hawaii.
Well, when we launched this package, and the package is made up of those 4 pillars to attack the problem of the cost of living, but we knew it was an ambitious launch, and we knew it was going to not be an easy task. So over the past few months, what have we learned about some of the, take the cost of living bill, what have we learned about that bill?
So with all of the bills, there was continued conversation with stakeholders, with our state departments to really understand the economic impacts of all of these bills and to figure out what were the implementation measures that we needed to take and to really iron out various issues. So it's really been like, some people started session by saying, oh, it's a done deal. Let me tell you, there have been changes in both the House and the Senate, and I think they're good changes, and so we're going to continue with the conversation. What we're going to see are bills that, again, attack the high cost drivers in the state of Hawaii.
Right. So looming over all of not only the package, but on the state budget and everything, is the threat of the coronavirus. How do you think that will impact what we do here?
I think it has a serious impact on all of the bills that are moving, including the economic package. But I also think that we have to approach it in a very calm manner, just as we're approaching the public health crisis that we're facing both here in the state and across the nation. The House has decided to convene a select House committee on COVID-19 economic and financial preparedness. Our Department of Health is doing a fantastic job of keeping the state up to date, making sure that we have the resources, making sure that we're having testing here in the state. But we have to take the long-term view about the economic impact. We're already starting to see the effects of reduced travel, cancellations, and we don't want to be unprepared as we were when 9/11 hit and when the Great Recession hit. I think we're still committed to the measures in the majority package. We're still committed to doing a number of things that we have to do to improve the lives of the people of here in the state. But we also have to keep our eye on what are going to be the economic fallout. So this select committee that has been convened by the House will pull in government leaders, private representatives from all of the industries that are going to be affected, as well as the nonprofit agencies. We're going to have to make sure that the families who may be hurt the most, again, those same ALICE families that we're trying to address in the joint majority package, are not going to be hard hit by this. We are concerned about the reduction of jobs, the loss of general revenues, all of those things that we faced following 9/11 and the recession.
Is there a specific time, do you think, when we're going to need to pull the trigger on say there are things moving through that cost money, the joint package will cost money? Is there a trigger point or a time?
We're really looking at what the Council of Revenues is going to say. I believe on March 11th, they come out with another projection. That's going to drive much of the conversation that's happening. But I think it's really important to also know that as the legislature, we have been tucking money away in the emergency rainy day fund for this very purpose. But I do think it is still something that we're going to have to deal with, and we want to be prepared. That's why the House proactively has decided to convene this select committee.
Okay. Moving on to beyond the joint package, there are other priorities, for the legislature and especially in the House on mental health.
Yes. So mental health is closely linked with the homelessness problem that we've been trying to address for the last several years. We are really, we've done a good job, I think, on focusing on homeless families and making sure that they move through the process and get into permanent housing. But there is a persistent subpopulation within the homelessness community that we need to deal with, and it's those who are suffering from mental illness and substance abuse. And what we're really looking at is, one, creating capacity in the community for more beds so that they can be treated. The second thing we're looking at is really a collaboration with the judiciary, with Department of Health, Adult Mental Health Division, as well as the prosecutors and the public defenders, because we know that homeless individuals who suffer from substance abuse and mental health issues are intersecting with law enforcement. So we've done a fantastic job with funding law enforcement assisted diversion, but we still need to fix those systems so that we have the tools within the judiciary to divert the folks from the streets, from the jails, to the appropriate places where they can get treated. And that actually might not take money. It's about looking at our processes for involuntary commitment. It's about looking at our processes post-arrest, but pre-diversion into the jail system. Can we divert low-level individuals, who've been taken in for low-level crimes into the places where they can get treatment, versus just placing them in jail where they cycle, and then where we have to release them to the street, and then they can commit another low-level offense.
Beyond the mental, we're also working on the correlation between, or the connection between, mental illness and preventing gun violence.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what that connection is?
Yes. So what we saw happen in the tragedy at Diamond Head was that there might have been mental illness, and again, it's the suspect was involved in the criminal justice system, in the civil justice system, through the temporary restraining order process. And so one of the things that we're looking at is, again, how do we, if there are red flags about individuals, how do we provide the tools so as to not violate their civil rights, but ensure that they get the help that they need, as well as ensure that the community feels protected. Right. I think we see a lot of mental illness out in the community, and we have to provide people who have the treatment tools as well as the law enforcement tools to be able to divert these people to the treatment that they need.
Well, we have, as you can see, you have a lot on your plate this session, and now combined with the coronavirus issue, I'm sure that we will be talking a lot more about that. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Carolyn.
And thank you for joining us this morning. We will see you again next week, Tuesday. Aloha.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the Legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.